Hi everyone and welcome back to SGDA's Summit 2022 Student Game Showcase. This is Block C. We're here with Team Debugger from UCLA. I'm Jason, the SGDA president.
And I'm Meghna, the marketing lead and guest host for the showcase section. And we're happy to start off with Debugger. And so I guess the Debugger team, why don't you introduce yourself and where you're from and who you go to?
I'm calling in from Fremont, California, and I go to UCLA.
I'm calling in from Miami, and I study at UCLA.
Hi, I am Amber. Felix. That's all right. My name is Amber. I'm also calling in from Fremont, California, and I go to UCSD.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Felix. I'm calling in from Fremont as well, and I also go to UCSD.
Okay, cool. I guess we got everyone. And could everyone explain their roles throughout the development?
The team lead and basically it's not as creative director, producer. I did like miscellaneous tasks like QA and just random programming.
I mostly worked on creating the tile maps for the game, and I did some of the original navigation from the main menu to the world map to the level.
I'm the art director, and I focus mainly on creating the different assets you might see, such as the tiles and some of the character sprites.
I mainly did UI and gameplay programming. So towards the beginning, I worked on gameplay elements like swallowing and releasing, and I also set up UI such as the level select.
Okay, awesome. And then, so I guess to start off with, as you guys are playing through the game, I guess how did this game get started and where you got the idea from?
So I was just hanging out with my friend, and I was looking at some ants on the table, and he was really confused why I was so fascinated by the ants. And I was just I said I like bugs, and he just joked, "No wonder you're a computer science major." And I just thought that joke was really funny. So this game is just based on a play on words. Also accidentally hit restart. And then UCLA has this oh my gosh, I cannot stream and play at the same time and talk at the same time. Sorry. But...
Oh, no worries. Yeah, feel free to take your time or.
Yeah. Okay. So UCLA has this 2-quarter program where students work on games together, and I couldn't really I just thought that the game would make sense as a puzzle game because I don't know, catching bugs to fix bugs, and I don't know. Sorry, I just want to convey the idea there's something wrong and you're fixing it, kind of broadly convey that to the gameplay. And I know I can't design puzzles, so I was I need a team of other people for this. So I pitched it for the UCLA club, and some team members that you see here joined my team. That was really cool. That's how it started out.
Awesome. And then, so yeah, I noticed that the game has sort of a kind of a RPG feel along with being a puzzle game. So I guess what was the inspiration behind the game in general in terms of its both puzzle aspect and design?
Sure. Ray, do you want me to talk a little bit about kind of the artistic inspiration?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Cool. Okay, so like Ray said, it was kind of the idea of debugging, a play on the idea of debugging code. And when I think of code and games, I get this really retro 8-bit kind of feeling. So I wanted this to feel a little bit nostalgic, and I wanted the pixel theme to come through really strongly to make it feel very computery, if that makes sense.
Yeah, got it. And then I think obviously that very much fits in with the whole idea of debugging.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then how long have you guys been working on this game?
We started in I think mid-January 2022. The version you're seeing right now is the one we completed by I think mid-May.
Oh, so roughly almost 6 months, but not.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And then you guys had, like, I guess in terms of the entire game in general, what was the most difficult part of the game for your team? Like, what took the longest, maybe, or was the challenge?
I think it was really hard to get started because we were like a kind of a large team of like relatively new developers. So I think it's like how do we I don't know, it's just like really hard to get started. I think we spent like maybe like I feel like we spent like maybe over a month just in like the planning and like preparing phase, just like getting code architecture set up, just talking about ideas and kind of like come up with more concrete ways to move forward. So I feel like we spent a lot of time in that mode. But I think like after we got a lot of like foundational stuff done, things went a lot more smoothly.
Yeah, yeah.
I
think...
really agree. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no worries. Go ahead.
I agree. It definitely took some time to get everyone on the same page about the direction of the game because, like Ray said, we were a large team of people, and if we weren't constantly communicating, it was very easy for all of us or the different teams to kind of stray down different paths, and we have to reconnect and get everyone back on the same page.
Yeah, awesome.
Actually,
and then I totally get how, especially since you had like seeing the credits screen that you guys have. You guys had like a huge team, and that's like definitely it's a challenge to organize a team that big, especially for us. Like as you mentioned, like most people are first-time developers, or wow.
first time or just like maybe like not that much experience.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I guess one of the big things that we like to ask during the interview is that how has the game changed over time in terms of how it was originally pitched, maybe for ACM or for your studio, and then how is like compared to now?
I think when I pitched the game, it was a lot more broad. It was just kind of like I know I want. Wait, maybe I can even pull the presentation if you want. I don't know. But
no, yeah, if you like, that'd be actually really interesting.
I can get the pitch presentation. Okay. You'll look at my recent Google Slides, but it's okay. There's nothing strange there. Yeah, I think it was definitely a lot more broad when I pitched it initially, because like I just really wanted to convey the ideas of you catch bugs to fix bugs, and somehow the genre is a puzzle game, so internet's being really slow. And I think I just wanted like maybe also just allow a little bit of flexibility into like the exact direction, because I myself cannot really design puzzles, so it's like it's not going to be like just my idea going. It's like I obviously need to take in like my team members' inputs and like kind of like best utilize their own skill sets. So it's like kind of like figure out what my team members want to do and want to see on the project too. So it's kind of like, okay, this is so this is just like they'll show up eventually.
Yeah,
now here's a fun fact on me, I guess. So yeah. Let's see. There you go. So yeah, here's the initial pitch. I said so high level. The students like, oh, I want this to be like a top-down 2D puzzle game, about catching bugs to fix bugs. That was like decided pretty. I was like, the game was definitely gonna be like that, and I wanted mechanics to tie with the narrative. Feeling something is wrong and fixing puzzles to make things feel correct. And I want like good puzzle design, satisfying mechanics. So it's like a really like mechanics-focused game. And my implementation ideas are pretty like broad, because it's like I just need to figure out what my team was first before I could really go deep into anyone. So you can see like some of our ideas, like mechanics get messed up, the visual changes, or like things are inspired by programming errors. And I just said like I couldn't figure out how to reconcile bug catching with solving puzzles. So actually my team members came with ideas like you could just catch all the bugs to finish levels. Like wow, that's so intelligent. I couldn't think of that on my own for a month. So it's like thank you. But anyway, in our actual game, the things we kept are mechanics are messed up. And there's like visuals that started looking glitchy. I guess they remain looking glitchy, but if you notice in the music starts out sounding like glitchy, but as you catch more bugs, it sounds more like pure.
Oh.
And you have that, yeah.
Yeah, I think I noticed a little bit of that when I was playing it.
Yeah, so I really wanted to like have like all parts of the game like convey that same idea. Actually, initially, our color palette for like maps were like really bright, so I'd like show someone who didn't know the premise of the game. They're like, "Oh, it's like a nice, bright, happy game, right?" And it's like, "Oh, No, we messed up. So it's kind of we had to like revisit our. We just kind of realized we were like out of alignment, trying to like revisit and figure things out again.
Yeah, awesome. And then yeah, I definitely see what you mean when you like initially pitched it. It was a lot less like it was kind of more up to the team to sort of figure out how the actual gameplay will go in terms of like setting it up. And then I guess and also thank you for showing your pitch deck, because I think that's the first pitch deck we've seen so far. So that was like pretty interesting to look at. And I guess in terms of the game itself, like what is like I guess to go through with each of the teammates, what are you most proud of about the game?
Okay, I've been starting a lot, so one of you guys start first.
Okay, I'll start first. What I'm most proud of is like how it came to look. So like the environment, the color palette, and I like how originally the palette maps that I made were just mainly like dark green, but then we also came up with like various other colors to represent like different environments, like the purple or like the red side of the map where the color palettes start to change, and I really like how we came up with that idea.
For me, I really love our puzzles. I think when you work on some puzzles, it doesn't seem that interesting because you know how it works, you know how it plays out. But we had a couple friends try our games, and it was so interesting to see how they think through our puzzles and how they felt a little bit challenged. And I think any game that challenges you a little bit is fun. So I'm really glad that we did a good job on those puzzles.
Yeah, to pitch in, I would also say the puzzles. I think it's really, I'm not good at designing puzzles at all, so it's really cool seeing like the gameplay features that you make like get integrated into a puzzle. And I think I was just really surprised when I played the puzzle and I sort of thought like, oh wow, this is like an actual challenge. And you know, I hadn't really thought that I guess something I could make would be like so challenging or thought provoking. So that was really fun to see.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like how the game came together is really cool. I have our lovely puzzle designer Alexander's not here with us, but we have him to thank for coming up with all the puzzles in our game. And I'm just showing off. We have like a skip button, so I kind of skipped around to show off the different, like what Victoria mentioned, how we have different color tile sets. So here's an example of a different one. And here's an example of I think I'm just like really excited. Like I really wanted like bugs to actually affect player mechanics, and our first world doesn't have that. But we have like 2 levels in this like red world that do that. So I'll show here. So this bug, when you go near it, it doesn't allow you to move rightward when you're like in like this like particular range. So you try to like the trick around it, like you try to like force it to go up so you can go around it and catch it that way.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was just really excited like the actual like buggy mechanics thing actually made it to the game, because I didn't think it would. Because like, you know, it's like, I don't know, things take a long time to make. So just like the normal levels, just like trying to establish like the game mechanics to teach the player with like no additional like mechanics shenanigans that the bugs cause you was already took a long time to make. So I was happy that like my original idea of like the bugs cause like change the player mechanics actually made it to the game. And also obviously like everything as a whole is it's really cool to see how everything came together.
Awesome. Okay, and I really liked what you said about how like it was how the entire team was kind of talking about the puzzles as well, because that's I think what was very intriguing about this game was kind of in puzzle games in general is how do you come up with these types of puzzles, especially considering that the type that you have is a bit more like a bit more unique in terms of like trying to corral these bugs to you. Yeah. And then, so we're coming up a little bit on time, but as our last question, does your team have any advice for people who might want to start on like making a pixel game, or in terms of like making a puzzle game of this difficulty?
I think for Pixar, it's just like you have to list out. I think I just as with like any art, any game art, you just have to like establish standards from the very start and just make sure like everyone's following those standards of like what dimensions, what color palette, and like the import settings within Unity. And for puzzle games, I am not gonna lie, I didn't design the puzzles. I just like hoped that someone who really liked designing puzzles would join my team, and that just happened. So I was very lucky. I'm very grateful for our puzzle designer Alexander for joining our team. But honestly, I can't really help with puzzle design. But it's like I think it's like probably like play a lot of puzzle games and like think a lot about like why they work the way they do.
Yeah, and to kind of elaborate on the pixel aspect, what Ray said about establishing a standard, I think some important things to think about is the palette, which ties in with the tone, because pixel art is very specific compared to other types of art. Like where you place each pixel has to be very deliberate. Having a style guide, which includes things like inspiration, tone, a certain color palette, is really helpful.
Yeah, to add on to the pixel art, since I worked on the tiles, what Ray said initially, originally the tile art was a bit of a lighter color palette, and that actually like changed like how you feel when you play the game, like the world. So we had to tone it down to like give it that more like something's kind of off, kind of dark. So it's really important to like look at like inspiration, and it's also good to look at pixel art of other games to have an idea of like how should you like design your own tiles to like format the way the world looks.
Okay, I guess since we're slowly coming up, do you guys have any last minute shout outs to talk about to the screen?
But just if anyone's interested in like a little bit of our process here, just like you have a little bit of stuff that people worked on that didn't make it in the final game. But like thank you to Victoria for this concept art, Amber and Alexander. And Amber actually drew this really cool illustration on our cover. Obviously need to shout out all our team members, Alexander, Zane, Mike, Kevin, Brad, Ambu, Andrew, and Cesar, who aren't here with us today, but we couldn't have made the game without them. And also thank you to UCLA's Game Development Club, ACM Studio, for facilitating this opportunity for us to make something really cool. And thank you SGDA for giving us opportunity to show our game off.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much for coming on to the stream and talking about your process. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Meghna. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you all.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you
Next
all.
game that'll be coming up
Yeah.
will be Starman 64. So we'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you.